chona, chokwa, masala chol, sa linchol, udlat, savantiosh, sal sultaka, barchikakwe, chikwe, chibek. This is a Maya language that is from Guatemala, where I am from. Don't worry, I'm not gonna keep on talking in my Maya language. I know a little bit of this language. I lived most of my life back in Guatemala. I've been living in Canada for almost 20 years. I'm a biologist, and I have the fortune to go back home almost every year, except for the pandemic. 3 years not going home was really difficult, but I go and do field work with paleosciences, working with microscopic fossils, learning how the Maya civilization managed their landscapes thousands of years ago. I also work with the current Maya. So there's a myth that in Guatemala there is no more Maya people. 60% of Guatemalans are Maya. My ethnic group is a mix between the Spaniards and Maya, but I know just a little bit. So today, this is what I want to share with you. The opportunity that we have in teaching by bringing these field experiences and cultural experiences into the classroom. These are my two objectives of today, how educational institutions play this important role in enriching students' points of view. Today I'm representing George Brown College. I also teach at U of T, and also I still teach back home in San Carlos University. But today I'm bringing you the experience of teaching this fabulous course that is called The Science of Sustainability, SOS. That was designed by two professors, Professor K.M. Williams and Professor Marta Bolbenix. We've been teaching this course for the last 3 years approximately, and it has been a fascinating experience. This is just a sample of the content that we teach, and who is in our classroom. They are not biologists. They are students that are learning to be cooks, chefs, hotel managers, tourism managers. So it's a fascinating collaborating experience for myself as a biologist to come and exchange this kind of knowledge and to learn so much from them. That is something that I tell my students a lot, that they are the other professors because they teach me a lot as well. So today I'm just going to give you a little bit of a sample of the things that we talk about, because these programs that you see here, they play a very important role in sustainability. Sometimes it can be misled that certain positions in society are more relevant, but all of us, we are linked to climate change, to sustainability. The food sector, the food industry is so relevant. It's one of the, I guess, primary causes of climate change. We often focus on fossil fuels, but what about everything else that we do? The way that we produce food today is not sustainable at all, at least dominantly, mostly led by industrial agriculture that uses lots of land, and today I'm going to show you some of the evidence of that, which I bring into the classroom. Like I was saying, I go back home almost every year, so I feel very fortunate to show those two sides of the coin to the students that never have seen, for example, a banana plantation or a palm oil plantation, which in Guatemala we have a lot of that. So we go over the history of the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. We go back in time to the 60s and 70s when Rachel Carson brought Silent Spring and how she brought this perspective that there was something wrong on how we produce food that is full of pesticides until today. But we go more critical because if I ask you, can you find the goals that are related to environment in this beautiful panel? It will take you some time if you're not familiar with it. But at least out of the 17, we have 4. So we do a reorganization by checking these other approaches that is showing exactly how the 4 goals are so relevant for everything else. The ones that are at the bottom, life on land, on the oceans, fresh water, and climate change, they are the foundation for society and economical activities. So this is the things that we talk about in the classroom, and it's fascinating to see how the students see the connection with the profession, with the food industry, hotel management, and tourism. We also try to see how relevant is climate change because it's very important. We talk about the planetary boundaries, which is a framework that was brought in 2009 by the Stockholm Resilience Center. But we start to see that climate change is only one of the many problems that we have. If you see at the top there, this is the planetary boundary showing 3 concentric circles. The green means that we are safe. Yellow, we're in a warning region, and red, we're in the danger zone. And climate change, we're getting there just as a symptom of everything else that we're doing wrong. You see that extinction is already on the red because we are deforesting too much. We're eliminating the places where carbon can be sequestered because we're expanding agriculture. And when we expand agriculture, we apply so much fertilizers that end up in the oceans, eliminating so many wildlife, end up in promoting these dead zones that we have talked about. Pesticides, we have more than 1,000 chemicals that have been brought into the atmosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere, and cryosphere. So these are the things that we try to bring into the classroom to show that climate change, we see it always in the mainstream media, but it's only one of the many things that we have to pay attention to because climate change is connected to all of those processes. And these are some of the graphs that we break into the discussion, showing that our food choices are very relevant. What we eat every day is relevant. If we look at this graph, 45% of the land that we can be using as humans is used for agriculture, out of which 80% is used for animal farming, for cattle pastures, and to feed the cows. And the contrary to the thing is that they produce so little protein and calorie supply at the global scale. So we go into discussions about this. We talk about the trophic pyramids, things that are very basic in science, but it makes sense because if we check at the trophic pyramid, out of this pyramid, which has the largest amount of energy? The plants. Yeah, so we dispel the myth that if you want to grow muscles and everything, you only need to have animal protein. Look at elephants, they are vegetarians. So we talk about those things, so we can be more critical about the food that we put in our menus, in hotels, restaurants, when tourists travel to other places. So all these kind of things, I think they're very relevant to put into the perspective for the students. And these are the kind of diagrams that we also show. Everybody, we eat bananas, yeah? How many of us have seen banana plantations? From Guatemala, since I'm a little child, we eat all sorts of bananas. And this diagram is showing data from 10 years ago. In orange, you can see the places where bananas are being produced and where they are being bought in the green circles. We can see that there's a teleconnection. And the thing is that it has a consequence on the global south. You can see the percentages of land that is being used for cash crop productions, not only bananas, palm oil, sugarcane, coffee, cacao, etc., cotton. So it has a consequence. And while there is an SDG that talks about no poverty and no hunger, it's not random. Lots of the land that is used for cash crops, it used to belong to the local people, to the Maya people, for example, to many indigenous communities. So it's not just random. You see the thermometer there? It's showing undernourishment levels. So these are the kind of associations that we try to bring into the classroom to enrich the students' perspectives because they are very important in the future for the food sector. And this is something that baffled my mind. How much bananas we throw in one day in Canada? 640,000 bananas. And if we do the math times the whole year, millions of bananas that we throw. So when I talk to students and I show them this, they're like, oh, what is going on? Should we say bye-bye to banana bread? I said, no. Let's just stop wasting bananas. It will have an impact somewhere else, thousands of kilometers away. And we waste a lot of many things that I'm not gonna go into. But something that I wanna wrap up right now is about what I do as work back in Guatemala. I studied the Maya civilization, and in the last decade, we have been learning how the Maya, for thousands of years, they managed the landscape sustainably, opposite to what it has been thought, that they deforested everything. We're learning more and more, and this brings us to this idea that there is sources of knowledge that we can rely on. Traditional knowledge, local science, native science. And just to wrap up, fortunately, we are bringing these ideas back into the classroom. All these ideas about circular thinking, circular economy, they are not novel. They have been around for thousands of years. I think I had to wrap up. So thank you so much. This is what I wanted to share, some of the things that we put into our classroom to enrich the experience of our students. So thank you.